Alright, I'm back. This is like my third retake of this fucking video. Sorry, guys, I'm a little earth, but anyway, I am back. We are reviewing Top Gun Maverick, my first new movie in a review in a bit. But man, I didn't think this movie was gonna be that good. As someone who liked the original, and I didn't necessarily even really need a sequel. Like, Top Gun to me was one of those movies, like, because there are some movies that are like, I can just kind of keep it in the 80s. I don't need a follow-up. But when this was announced, I was like, okay, we'll see where it goes. And the more trailers I saw, I was like, okay, this movie actually looks pretty good. And especially more, like, recently, because they've been showing the trailers a lot. I was like, all right, this looks interesting. I'll actually watch it. And man, I've seen it 3 times now. So I saw it on Friday, and then I saw it yesterday. Not yesterday. Yeah, I saw it yesterday, and then I saw it Saturday. I meant to say I saw it Saturday and yesterday. But yeah, I've seen it 3 times now. Like, not since Halloween 2018. That was the last one where I've seen a movie that many times. Like, that quick. And it's for a movie I didn't necessarily need a sequel to. Like, it seems like a lot of the franchises that I didn't really ask a sequel for are the ones that seem to deliver. You know, I didn't ask a sequel for Rocky. We got Creed. We got Cobra Kai, and I didn't ask for Karate Kid, like another one. And I like Karate Kid, but I didn't ask for a sequel to that. And the fact that those are the only things that seem to deliver, and then the ones that actually fans want, like Star Wars, Predator, Terminator, nope, they shit the bed. So it's crazy how this one is the one that does it perfectly. The story is simple. You know, it basically, Maverick gets recruited to lead a new team of recruits to do a mission. And you don't even really know who the villain is, because the country, the base they're attacking, they never mention the country. I just assume it's Russia, but they never actually mention who it is, which is actually interesting. I actually really think, because at the end of the day, it's not about the antagonist. It's about Maverick trying to, you know, show he's still got it. You know, try to make peace with his son, with his best friend's son, Rooster, who's Goose's son. We have the scene with Iceman with Val Kilmer. Dude, that scene was beautiful. And the fact that they were able to make it work, you know, even with Val's, you know, ailment, which that's one thing that sucks, man, is that ailment, like, it really impeded his career. He's such a good actor. And the fact that, but like, they made that scene work. Same with Tom Cruise. Props to him. He made that scene work. That scene was beautiful. It hit me. So, this is how you do it. You know, how you bring in new characters. You don't instantly try to just bring in new characters just so you can put down the original. No, they don't do that. They make, like, the scene where Maverick is teaching him. He's schooling these new recruits. It's like my favorite part of the movie. That is like what a mentor is supposed to do. They're supposed to school you initially, but eventually you start learning. Not what seems to be modern mentors now for most of Hollywood is, oh, they're just there to validate new character. That's it. So they actually do it well here. And the crazy thing is, I think unfortunately, anyone else writing this movie or directing this movie would not have been as good. And I'm happy that this movie is making $300 million. That's awesome. And it's just a good fucking story. Simple, but good story. Good characters. And I didn't think, I thought I was going to like the new characters, but I didn't think I was going to like them all. Like, I don't think not one new character I didn't like. I liked them all. Like, I like them at varying degrees. I think Hangman is probably my favorite of them all, but it was awesome. And this is how you do it. So I heavily recommend this movie. And this movie is almost a 10. I can't give it a 10 because I think there's one thing. It's like a minor thing, but it definitely is close. I give it like a 9.8. Like a 9.7, 9.8. It can switch because this movie is so good. The score is really good, minus I don't know why they did Lady Gaga. They didn't need to do a new song. Thankfully, they played it like in the credit scene. They didn't play it like actually in the fucking movie. Like the songs they actually play like Danger Zone and like the good shit in the actual movie. They didn't play like that song in the movie. It was in the credits scene, but it's like they didn't need to create a new song. Honestly, you should have just played Danger Zone in the credits. That's how it should have ended. You should have just kind of like you know what? I will say this though. You know, I like Ghostbusters Afterlife, but I would almost say this is that movie, but like done 10 times better. And I like that movie, but this is just the truth. Like and I get it. Tom Cruise is in much better shape than like Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd and I get it, but still, it kind of showed this movie. Watching it, and this is something I thought the other day. It's like they could have done a whole movie with the original three. You could have. Like, maybe they're not doing as physical stuff as they get. They're not in the same shape as fucking Tom Cruise, but come on. You could have. I felt like they could have, but anyway, that's a minor point. But yeah, this movie overall is really good. So that'll be my review for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing another Stallone standalone. And it's an arm wrestling movie, and that's the funny thing about it. It's an arm wrestling movie, but still only Stallone can make it fucking work. We're reviewing Over the Top. So that'll be tomorrow. And the title, it fits very over the top. It's super 80s. You got these big jack dudes, arm wrestling, yeah. That's pretty much the movie. So I'll be talking about that tomorrow. But let's get to Top Gun Maverick. I'm happy to cheers to this movie. This movie is really fucking good. Rarely do I say go see a new movie, especially in theaters. Like, I'll say go see a new movie, but I'm not necessarily saying you have to see it in theaters. This is one you do. I think the visuals alone, just the scene in the jets, but just go see it in theaters just to support it. Like, even in that kind of sense. Like, kind of like, you know, even if you're not a Top Gun person, just support it in the sense, like, kind of like how I did Sonic. Like, I wasn't the biggest Sonic fan, but this is how you do it. But anyways, let's cheers and talk about the movie. Movie opens up, get like a montage of the original movie, which was nice, and then we get the kind of like a similar opening up to the original. You know, where they're on, like, we see the jets flying. You got like the music playing, and I actually like the new version of the Top Gun anthem. I'll admit the original I'm still gonna probably listen to mainly, but I don't mind it. It's fine. You know, it's like the Jurassic themes or the Halloween themes for the newer ones. They kind of changed it a bit, but it still works. So this movie opens up. We see Maverick getting ready to test pilot a super jet, but Commander Ed Harris, it was awesome seeing him, man. I love seeing him and stuff. I mean, he always plays a great, like, military guy. But Maverick is gonna test fly this new plane he wants to hit Mach 10, and that scene when he hits it, like, that opening scene is really good, and the fact that even Harris has to give him credit, like, yeah, dude, that like, you know, he did it. And then, yeah, Maverick pushes the limit and it ends up crashing. And that scene where he goes to the town is pretty funny. The thing is, the humor in this works. And it's not done in that cringy, like, you can call it MCU humor, Disney humor. I would say Disney humor because I feel like it's all Disney now. They actually let the humor be natural. It feels like the humor that would have been in the original movie. Like, it doesn't change the humor to fit the times. And that scene between Ed Harris and Maverick is really good. Like, it basically was almost like Tom Cruise breaking the fourth wall of saying, I still got it. You know, because he basically, Iceman has been behind the scenes. I love, like, the tone this movie sets. Like, because they basically say, yeah, Iceman's been kind of helping you in that the reason why because he's been a captain the whole time, that he's not like changed ranks or anything like that. Yeah. So he gets assigned to be leader of a new group of Top Gun recruits. This is where we see John Hamm. I thought he was great in this as like the secondary asshole general. He works in this movie, and then yeah, he goes to the bar. We kind of get like a throwback scene to like the original. You know how we meet the original members, where we meet them at a bar. I thought that was cool, where we meet the recruits, and I thought the recruits were great from the jump. Like, they were awesome. And the female was good. I just don't remember her name right at this fucking second. Sorry, but like, yeah, Payback. He was great. Rooster, which is Miles Teller, I thought he was awesome. We get he's Goose's son. Pretty much, yeah. Rooster and Maverick are like the two main. Like, Maverick's like the main character, but I would say Rooster's like the main new recruit. Him and Hangman, Hangman I kind of wanted more of, because he was, to me, he actually feels like a character that would have been in the original movie. He fits perfectly, as that like cocky asshole, but not overly asshole to the point you don't want to see him. Like, he's still likable. And yeah, the female pilot was great, and they don't make it a deal that she's a woman. She's just part of the team, and I think that's what was great. Because it's just Hollywood. You can just write women like that, or any of the black pilots. Not once did their race come up. They were just soldiers as part of the team. That is, or you have like one of the generals was black. Not once did his race come up, or you can write these characters as actual people. Like, this is how you do it. Like, any other writer, I really think, like, with the female pilot specifically, they would have made her whole arc about being a woman. Like, that she was struggling because she's a woman and the man's holding her down. It would have been some bullshit like that. So to see actually, like, bump it in writing, and then the scene where Maverick's, is about to leave the bar, and then he hears the song that the recruits are singing. It's the song that we heard that him and Goose was singing in the first one. And you get like a flashback of Goose. Like, it's perfect. I love the flashbacks, which really are just scenes from the movie, the original. I thought were awesome, and they were perfectly timed. They didn't just spam them in random places either. Like, when those scenes would hit, it was like actually a perfectly timed. Like, it fit. Then yeah, the next day is where we get him training recruits, and I thought that scene was funny. And not was funny. I meant to say fun. But yeah, like, that scene was awesome, because the way Maverick schools the new recruits, like, they let him actually show how good he is. Unlike the same thing. Anyone else writing it, they would have had Maverick be made to be a joke. Because, like, look at this old timer trying to show he still got it. I like that they actually treat it seriously. Because that's why they act. And nothing is the other thing. They treat this movie like when it needs to be. They treat it seriously. I'll admit, Top Gun's not, like, I wouldn't say it's like the most serious movie in the world. But when there are moments that is about being serious, like, the importance of this mission, and those training scenes are done so well, because while Maverick is explaining the mission, they cut to them actually doing the mission, like, not doing the mission, but like the training. It was awesome, and you get like this little rivalry between Hangman and Rooster, because they're trying to fight for initially the front for the like mission leader. And yeah, this is where I think this is where we get the revelation he's Goose's son, because it is seen like Hangman finds out about it, and yeah, he starts. Then Maverick goes on a date with Penny, who's like an old girlfriend of his. I'll admit the romance from the original is a bit better, but I think it's Jennifer Connelly still looks great. And I think if I had to say it, it's not necessarily a gripe, it's more of an observation. I think she could have done a bit. I felt like she should have been more involved in the story. Maybe, honestly, I just thought of this, maybe make her like Hangman's mom or something. I think she should have been a bit more integrated into the plot. I think, but that's like the only minor thing. It doesn't ruin the story. I think her chemistry with Tom Cruise is there. It didn't feel like, oh, they're just thrown together, and they feel natural. So yeah, then this is we get a scene where Rooster and Hangman almost get in a fight, and this is where like his stuff basically gets revealed to the public, and we get more info that because his mom because Goose's wife didn't want um, Bradshaw joining the military. Maverick promised her that, so he basically impeded him being able to join, or a couple of years of his like military career. So he always has like this resentment towards him, and I thought they handled that beautifully. It wasn't over the top. I think both actors did well with it. This is where we get a scene between Iceman and him, and that scene, man, it it was so beautiful. And the fact that Tom Cruise was able to act and they were able to make it work with Val Kilmer's ailment, which really doesn't let him talk. So there's a bit of it. Yeah, he had to do like a thing on the screen, but Tom Cruise made it work, man. That's how good of an actor he is. He was able to make it work, and I almost got me to shed a tear. Like, I normally don't shed a tear for the most part. Some movies will break me a bit, but that got me a bit. Even as someone who I like the original Top Gun, but not like that. Like, I wouldn't put Top Gun up there with like Predator or something, you know. But the fact that like that scene was so beautifully acted, and then we actually got to hear Val Kilmer talk for like a second was awesome. That last moment between them was well done. Bravo. Like, that's how you fucking do it. And it's not like, it didn't feel like, you know how, like, I feel like modern Star Wars where they just bring out a character, like, oh, here's this character, cheer. They didn't do that with Val Kilmer in this. He actually felt integral to this. Even before that scene, you would see him, like, message Maverick throughout the film before that. So he was actually integrated in the story. They didn't just throw him in there. But guys, cheer, it's Val Kilmer. They didn't do that bullshit. But anyway, cheers really quick. This is where we get the team building scene. We kind of get the callback to the volleyball scene. Instead of volleyball, they're playing football. I thought this scene was awesome. You know, it was a nice little callback to the original, but it also was there to make the team build up the team. You even start seeing Hangman and Rooster make peace, and same with a little bit with Rooster and and man, that's what makes it so good. And very like the throwbacks have a point. They're not just there, just oh guys, here's a throwback, which I'm not all the time against, but sometimes it's just done to be cheap. It works here. So after this is where Iceman dies, which his death was sad, and he gets a solid Navy funeral, nice send off. Which that's what I'll admit I'm not as big into Star Wars now, but that is what Han Solo should have got a send off somewhat similar to that, like a warrior send off. But anyway, then they end up letting Maverick go, and John Hamm takes over, and then Penny gives some words of wisdom to Maverick to kind of give him almost like a pep talk. You gotta always kind of have that in movies like this where the hero's kind of down on himself, and his girlfriend or wife gives him the words of encouragement, and it hypes him up. So he ends up taking one of the jets to show them that because throughout the training that the team weren't making time, but Maverick showed them that it is actually possible, and we get that really good scene. And Maverick ends up becoming mission leader. He chooses his team, and he ends up choosing Rooster over Hangman. We get kind of like a send off between the two before they go on the mission. And the mission starts off just as well planned, but then Tom Cruise ends up getting shot down. I like how well they did it because there's even a scene where he sees Penny before, and they make it seem like, oh, he might die. I didn't think he was because I just thought I don't think Tom Cruise would necessarily write himself to die, but I like that they made you believe it. Like that's one thing about movies rarely does like you have like stakes like that where they make you potentially think the lead could die. Like just even potentially think, even for like a second. You know, I thought when he got shot down, like there was a second, I was like, oh shit, is he dead? That I mean, I figured he wasn't, but I was also like, for like a couple of seconds, like, oh shit, they might have. And I would have been fine with it if they did. I'm like, that would have been ballsy, but yeah. But no, he survives, and then we actually see that Rooster comes back from. They argue for a bit, but then they end up snagging an old F-14, which I thought that scene was awesome. I mean, you can also, like, if you wanted to really nitpick, you could say like somehow this F-14 is able to start. You know, I get it, but I look at it like it's like Cobra Kai. There are things in that show. You just got to look at it in the context of like an 80s kind of thing, that there's some things that are just kind of convenient. I just kind of accept that. And if the movie's mostly good, I can almost overlook that shit. And yeah, so we end up seeing them be able to make that 14 work. They end up flying, getting ready to head back to base, but then they get attacked by an unnamed villain who just you see in like the jet outfit. We get a nice dogfight, which I thought that scene was awesome. They made you feel like you were in the jet with them, especially. Sorry, I think that was one of the things reasons I would say watch this in theaters. Those scenes in the jets, man, it's almost like you're riding with them. They really give you that feeling like you're in the jet with them. So I gotta give it to the cinematographers and all the people and the fact that they're actually flying jets, and like Tom Cruise is actually doing the stunts in this movie, like, is what makes it so awesome. Like, it feels like a movie like out of time in a sense. It's like, how did this come out in 2022? But yeah, so they end up out destroying one, but then they end up having a final battle with one, and they nearly are about to crash when Hangman snags one of the jets and steals it, and because they're close to the base, shoots him down, takes them home. We kind of get like a celebratory scene. Rooster and Maverick make peace. He succeeds in his last mission, goes to see Penny. And basically, yeah, he sees her, and like that's the thing about this movie. The movie ends just pretty simple. Like, he gets the girl, he succeeds in his mission, makes peace with Rooster. I think that's the thing about this movie. Why I say you should see it. And I think that's another reason I was able to watch it so much. It's just the pacing, the simplicity. This is how you do a comeback, and this is more of a character movie. Like, the story is almost, I'm not gonna say inconsequential, but it in a way it is, because you don't even know who the bad guy. There's no real villain. I mean, there isn't. Like, you don't even know who the country they're going against. I just assume Russia, but they don't even say it. They just kind of leave it ambiguous. And I like that's how they did it, because it was focused on the characters. I haven't seen a movie like that in a long time. And it's just a good movie. It's not just good because everything else has been shit. Like, there's been a lot of shit lately. But no, it's just a genuinely well done movie. And I'm happy it's doing well. You know? Because we need more movies like this. Like, they let Maverick be Maverick, but they also showcase the new characters very well. Miles Teller as as Rooster was great. I thought Hangman was great. I thought like everyone did their role perfectly. You know, I hated the Lady Gaga song. I don't understand why they had to do that. But you should have just played Danger Zone in the credits. Just keep it simple. But yeah, awesome movie. Heavily recommend. Nine, almost. I would give it. I think I'm sticking with a 9.8. Almost a 10 out of 10. It's a dope movie, especially for a modern one. But you know, this is how you do it, and the fact that it's crazy that it took something like Top Gun being the movie that did it is crazy. So this being good almost gives me faith that Jurassic World, because that's my big one this year. Next week, that's next Friday. That's my big release of the year. So I hope that delivers. So we'll be talking about that more next week. But yeah, this movie is a go see it. But other than that, we're gonna be talking about Over the Top tomorrow. That's an awesome Stallone film, and the fact that it's just a movie about arm wrestling is crazy. But Stallone is able to make it work with his '80s cheese, great soundtrack. It's just a fun fucking movie. I'm definitely down to watch it. I haven't watched it in a bit, but it's definitely. Since we're getting closer to summer, I'm definitely gonna be amping up a lot more of like the action movie reviews. I feel like it's such a perfect time to be reviewing those movies. But yeah, other than that, I am gonna cheers out, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. As usual, fuck Warner Brothers, fuck Disney, and fuck the Biden administration. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace.